with the podcast, I'm still getting used to international time zones, especially people who are in the US and in Canada. And even just within Australia, between Adelaide and Melbourne and Sydney, the time zones are different. And then there's also winter time and summer time and daylight savings and all that. And I I was supposed to be recording a podcast today or so I thought, but my guest was like, "Hey, I thought it was tomorrow," and then I realized that it's the 16th here in Adelaide, but it's still the 15th in the US. And I'm so grateful for all these experiences because I get more and more used to having guests internationally. So I know I can't stop talking about it, but this week has been absolutely stunning. I've had a guest from London, I've had a guest from Toronto. Having a guest on tomorrow from Boston. Then there's a guest on over the weekend from Paris. And hopefully next week we will also have another guest from the US and then a local Adelaide guest. I am so grateful for all the support. I know that Spotify numbers are really hard to move, but my channel got 2 new subscribers on Spotify, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this is actually happening. And YouTube's been doing well, and of course, Instagram and all the blog posts that I'm putting out, and I'm posting on all these channels, and my guests are really impressed with me, and I'm very happy about all that. And anyone who wants to sign up to the podcast, the way I've changed it is that now there are 10 slots a month. The $100 podcast very much exists. And then there are 2 other price tiers depending on what kind of deliverables you would like. And I've already had 2 guests on who signed up on the $300 podcast, and it's been very, very interesting. I'm thankful for everyone. Really, I never thought I'd have a podcast. I mean, I wanted to, but it was like, who's going to come on my podcast? And here we are. My podcast is for regular people like you and me. And I'm happy to talk about your work, your personal journey. They're all freewheeling conversations that both of us really, really enjoy. And I'm really glad that I am now focusing more on being the podcast, being guest led, because initially I was so enthusiastic and you end up having a chat. So I would also talk a lot and they would also talk a lot. And I realized in some of the clips that I was like, oh, I shouldn't have talked for so long. Maybe I should just let the guest talk about what they do. So I'm trying to bring the focus back to what the guest does and the kind of work they do, etc. And it's a very interesting learning journey. Thank you for following along.